Movie buffs, welcome back to the Movie Bay. This is D. In today's video, we're going to do underrated, underappreciated, unloved movies, number 7. Without further ado, let's go ahead and dive in and take a look at 10 underrated movies. And let's see, number 1, we're going to start with 2008's Lakeview Terrace, starring Samuel L. Jackson, Patrick Wilson, and Kerry Washington. This is a really good movie. Samuel L. Jackson basically plays a LAPD. I think he's LAPD. I think he's like a sergeant. And this interracial couple moves in, and they are his new neighbors. And he got a real issue with this interracial couple. Nothing is up with these people. They're just a young couple, and they're an interracial couple. He takes a big issue with that. And he spends the whole movie really giving this couple a hard way to go. He does everything from false pullovers, false arrests, loud burglar alarms, floodlights that he put on his house that aims directly at their house. Oh man, it's a crazy, crazy movie. Lakeview Terrace. Next up, we got at number 2, we got 2007 starring Michael Caine and Demi Moore, Flawless. Flawless is a really good diamond heist movie. If you're looking for a good heist movie that doesn't they give you all the theatrics of other heist movies. Now, the theatrics make heist movies, but this is different. This is like smooth and slick. Like, you're really going to like this one. This is basically a two-man show. Basically, this is a really good movie. I mean, I loved Flawless. It's a good heist movie. I enjoy heist movies, so you'll love this one. Next up is one that blew my socks off when I first saw it. I really do enjoy this movie. I can sit and watch this now and find enjoyment with this movie. You got Jude Law, Forrest Whitaker, 2010's Repo Men. So these are repo men, but they don't repo cars. These guys repo body organs. They repo hearts, livers, spleens, kidneys, knees, backs, brains, whatever this company decide to sell you or lease you. I think it might even be like these crazy lease deals that the desperate people who are dying sign these crazy contracts. And when you fall a certain amount default, they send repo men to come get the organs. And let's face it, certain organs, you pretty much die when they come to repo you. So it's crazy. Like, you got resistant movements. They call them nests, where people use certain techniques to jam the repo men's, because they scan. That's how they can find. They call... I think that the items is called like forgs or something like that. They got these little guns, and they can scan, and they can detect the signature from a forg. I think that's what it's called. And they go get the organ. It is a crazy ass movie. One of my favorite scenes in the movie is the scene where Jude Law go to repossess the RZA. You guys know who the RZA is from Wu-Tang Clan. He was in this movie, and when he went to his house and he was working on that song, Every Day Feels Like a Holiday, and man, it was a banger. A great movie. Forrest Whitaker did his thing in this movie. So did Jude Law. I love this movie. And this movie came out right when Jude Law was really riding high off his fame. So yeah, I loved Repo Men. Next up, we got 1997's Kiss the Girls. Kiss the Girls is, this is, from what I understand, this is the first big screen appearance of Alex Cross. So we know there's plenty of books out there, but this is the first time Alex Cross was on the big screen. So you got Morgan Freeman and Ashley Judd with this one right here, and you're going to love it. It's a great movie. I really want you to see this one. If you never saw this one, I don't want to give you nothing on this one. I really want you to see this movie. It is a good movie. And here's another one that's underrated, and it's not part 2 to Kiss the Girls, but I'm going to say this is a follow-up. Sort of like U.S. Marshals is not part 2 to The Fugitive. It is a follow-up, because it's a follow-up of the main character, which is Samuel Gerard, played by Tommy Lee Jones. He's in both movies. And it's more of a follow-up to that character. Just like here. And Along Came a Spider is not a follow-up. It's not really a follow-up to Kiss the Girls, but it's a follow-up of the character of Alex Cross. So you got Morgan Freeman. He's back this time. And who is this gal? I don't know who she is. I don't know who she is. Anyway, it doesn't matter. He's back, and this time there's a high-profile school. The school seems like it's for the elite, and I just don't mean the rich elite. This is for the rich elite, like the upper crust of society, like politician kids, kids of like powerful CEOs. So just like, I don't see this would be a school where you would just get people who got money, kids can go ahead. No, this is for the elite. They got Secret Service people patrolling this school. And there's an abduction, a very sophisticated abduction pulled at this school. She's a Secret Service agent. She's caught up in it. And Morgan Freeman is, again, Alex Cross, who's an FBI agent, who's brought in to help solve the case. A banging movie with a crazy ending. So again, I'm going to say both of these. Now, if you want to see like more Alex Cross, you watch Kiss the Girls, and then Along Came a Spider is basically more of Alex Cross. They're not follow-ups to each other, but I highly recommend both. And then you watch these two movies based on Alex Cross, right? Then turn around and watch that train wreck with Tyler Perry called Alex Cross. I got that one too. And then you tell me what you think. Next up is one. Now, Cuba Gooding Jr. got a lot of movies. It's him and Nicolas Cage are like the kings of the B circuit. Nicolas Cage more so because he's put out more work. But the stuff that Cuba put out, I can name 3 right off the top that was just banging. I think this one is one called Wrong Turn in Tahoe. That joint was a banger. I still don't have that one in my collection. I got to get it. And it's another one. I think it's called Sacrifice. That joint's a banger. I have that one behind me. But this one right here, this one is called Hit List. Man, listen. Hit List came out in 2011. Don't get it twisted because this is a B movie. This movie is fantastic. So you got Cole Hauser. He's a guy who's down in his luck. He's having issues with his job. He's having issues with his wife. I do believe that's his wife. Could be his girlfriend. It's suspected that she was cheating. It looked like she was cheating. So he gets drunk. He goes out. He gets drunk. He was in a bar. He was sitting down at a booth, just, drowning his sorrows. And Cuba Gooding Jr. comes in and sit down, and they start talking, not knowing that this guy is a psychopathic hitman, like really gone. And he just start telling them, they just start talking. And, Cuba Gooding's character get him to just tell him everything. So he said, yeah, you gave him basically a hit list because he was telling him all the people he felt like did him dirty. And in Cuba Gooding Jr. mind, he was giving him a hit list. So he said, okay, I'll tell you what, I'll kill everybody on the list for free. You ain't got to pay me nothing. And so Cole Hauser was like, no, don't do that. So the movie was on and popping. The Hit List was a crazy movie. A guy basically who didn't know he was giving a hit list to a hitman gave him a hit list. It was banging. I'm trying to tell you. You'll love this one. This is a really good movie. So if you see this one in a bargain bin or in a dollar store, trust me when I tell you, D recommends get this movie. Next up, we got one with Clive Owen, Zoe Saldana, Billy Crudup. This one is called Blood Ties. Blood Ties came out in 2013. So what you got here is you got 2 brothers who are on the opposite ends of the law. One is a career criminal, one is a cop. The one brother gets into a really bad situation, and the unexpected brother comes and saves him at the end of the movie. This is a really good movie. This movie puts you in the mind of, remember the movie We Own the Night? That's definitely going to be in an underrated movie list because I know that movie just don't get enough love. We Own the Night is a banger. But anyway, Blood Ties is basically a little bit like We Own the Night, where you got 2 brothers who are on the opposite ends of the law who come together at the end. Fantastic movie. Next up, we got 1993's Posse. Posse is a black-led cowboy western movie. It's not that many of them. There's a handful of them. I can think of 2 off the top of my head. This one and one that came out on Netflix not too long ago called The Harder They Fall with Jonathan Majors, Lakeith Stanfield, Delroy Lindo, and a host of others. Idris Elba was in that movie. Now, I'm quite sure it's more than just 2 or 3. I'm quite sure it's at least a handful of black-led western movies, but I don't know of that many. I know of maybe 3. And this is one of them, and this is a really good one. So you got Mario Van Peebles, Big Daddy Kane, Nate Dogg, Tiny Lister Johnson, and a host of others in this movie. Fantastic movie, great music, great soundtrack, Posse. Next up we have, now for me, this might be, and I know it's crazy to say this, and I might actually say, no, I'm not going to save this one for Bring the Smoke episode 2. But if you want to give me some smoke for this one, I'll take it. I think this is the best movie from Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. What I mean by that is, far as like a solo movie, because for the most part, he's pretty much, there's nobody on his team or anything. It's just him against these guys he's taking revenge on. And I think this is his best movie, in my opinion, because this movie just fit his persona. It fits that big old body of his and the gun, you'll see. This is called Faster. Talk about big, imposing, intimidating, and scary. This man is scary as shit in this movie. The movie basically opens up with him putting one in the guy's head. I mean, it opens up with him basically getting out of the car, going into an office building, and putting one straight in the guy's head, right in the middle. So what you got here is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is out for revenge. Years ago, when he was younger, now this movie takes place with him. This is years later after he got out of jail. He went to jail. They did a robbery. I guess they was part of a robbery crew. They got double-crossed, and his brother got his throat slit, and I think his other homie got shot. They shot him in the back of the head, but it didn't kill him. I think he had a metal plate in his head, or he might have the metal plate now. Either way. And he didn't kill him. He went to jail. He got out years later, and he took revenge on every last single one of the ones who double-crossed him. He's just walking around looking like The Rock, mean as shit the whole movie. I mean, man, like, and then he's using that hand cannon. That's a Ruger Alaskan. And he's just, man, this movie is crazy. To me, when I watched this, I was like, wow, The Rock is really putting the smackdown in this one. Good movie. And then you have another assassin who's out to stop him, who was hired by, oh man, this movie is good. Billy Bob Thornton is in here, so you know you're gonna get some good acting. Billy Bob Thornton and The Rock together, not bad. Last but not least, we got 2016's The Bellco Experiment. Now, both the Bellco Experiment and Faster are like bargain bin movies. What I mean by that, you can find this in any bargain bin. Anywhere they got a bargain bin, 9 out of 10 times you're going to find this and Faster in those hit bin. I'm thinking about hit lists. You might even find hit lists in a bargain bin too. But Big Lots, the Belko Experiment pops up everywhere. I mean, you can walk into anywhere that sells movies, that sells cheap movies, and find this movie. And I think a lot of people get it twisted that this is a bad movie because it is a bargain bin movie. I'm here to tell you it's not. Great acting. It looks good. I think it was shot very well. The premise of the movie is strong. The ideal is strong. The concept is strong. It reminds you of, like, it puts you in the mind of, like, movies like Saw, Hostel, Escape Room, but without the elaborate traps. But what they do got is, like, these little tiny explosives that they implant in everybody's head when they're hired for the company, that these guys who take over start detonating these explosives and basically blowing people's heads out. This movie is fantastic. It starts off as a game. They have to eliminate a certain amount of their co-workers, or the powers that be will detonate. And it gets down to one survivor. This guy here is the sole survivor out of 80 people. The Belco building starts off with 80 workers that day, and it ends with one person left. This is a absolute banger. Please don't sleep on this because it's a bin special. It's a Big Lot special. It's a Dollar Tree special. Don't sleep on this one. This is good. And that was 2016's The Belko Experiment. Well, that's 10 movies. Now, out of these 10 movies, what would I recommend you go see out of all of these first? Again, these are underrated movies. I want you to see them all. But what's the one that I would recommend you go see first? That would be Cuba Gooding Jr.'s The Hit List. This movie is a banger. Absolutely, positively. It's well slept on, and people, you need to stop sleeping on this movie. This is a good one. So that's it. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.